One of the reasons that our perception of and relationship with this life business has been so out of balance is that we have lacked the ability to discern between different levels. The twisted, distorted perspective of life that humans have evolved is, in part at least, the result of trying to apply the truths of one level to the reality of another. Several examples of this distortion phenomena can be drawn from the archetypal images which were used at the beginning of this section, the prince and the princess. Symbolically, the image of the prince and the princess can be interpreted on many levels. One level is, of course, as symbols of the masculine and feminine energy of creation. The marriage of the princess and the prince can on this level be seen to represent the feminine and masculine principles of the universe and their union in perfect balance and harmony, the eternal balance of yin and yang. So on this level, happily ever after is the truth. This perfect union symbolizes on an individual level the attaining of integration and balance between the masculine and feminine energies within. It is the process of striving for integration and balance of the masculine and feminine within that allows us to find some balance and harmony in our relationships with ourselves and life. This striving for integration and balance, which working a 12-step program brings to an individual's life, even if one is not conscious that that is what is happening, allows us to reach a place where we can be happy in the moment the majority of the time, happy, joyous, and free. So there is some truth on this level in happily ever after. The coming into balance of the feminine and masculine principles in their manifestation into interrelationships on the planet, which will arise out of the healing being done on a personal level, is what will allow the world to evolve into a peaceful environment. Again, some truth in happily ever after. Another level has to do with the spiritual truth that at the culmination of the spiritual evolutionary process, each of us will be united with our twin soul, and then will be finished with karma and painful lessons, so that we can live happily ever after. That is, consciously realize eternal existence in a state of joy and bliss. So we have 4 levels, perspectives, on which happily ever after is a concept that contains at least some truth. However, applying that truth to the physical plane in the form of believing you will achieve happily ever after when you get married or find your mate is obviously a false and dysfunctional belief that has resulted from the human inability to discern between levels. Human beings have also tried to apply the realities of the physical level to the spiritual level with the disastrous result that humans have come up with the image of a God force that fights wars. This image of the God force, with its characteristics of a warlike male, is completely out of balance because it is not the image of a balanced male warrior. It is the image of a male with no feminine side. As has been stated, there is some truth in everything. There is some truth in the image of the creative force being masculine. Masculine energy governs manifestation, and the creation was an act of manifestation, so it was a masculine act. What the image of a masculine God ignores, however, is the truth that, though the creative action is masculine, the creative urge is feminine. Therefore, even though the act of creation may have been a masculine manifestation, a father thing, if you will, prior to the creative act existed the urge, which means that the feminine principle, mother or goddess energy, if you will, preceded the masculine. This inability to discern between different levels of reality is part, along with the planetary conditions which will be addressed shortly, of the reason that many religious teachings are twisted, distorted, grotesquely warped misinterpretations of what were originally symbolic, metaphoric, allegorical attempts to explain the unexplainable. Western civilization does not acknowledge that multiple levels of reality exist, and as a result has been way out of balance towards the left brain way of thinking. Rational, logical, concrete, what you see is all there is. Since what is seen is a three-dimensional illusion, anything that does not fit neatly into that three-dimensional world has been labeled as not being real. Logically then, according to traditional Western thought, the supernatural does not exist. It is only imagination and superstition. Therefore, anyone who believes in the supernatural is crazy. Because emotional energy could not be seen or measured or weighed, and was not sanctioned by the AMA, emotions were discounted and devalued. Western civilization has discounted anything that does not fit into the three-dimensional framework, into a single perspective that twists, distorts, and enmeshes the levels of reality, and has shamed, ridiculed, and persecuted the individuals and groups who challenge this rigidly rational perspective. At the same time, Western civilization has been based on insane, irrational concepts like love is shaming and manipulative, and God is a male who fights wars.